kind of fun. You can kind of see the readout between rider and motor support on the display. And this is why you ride a bike here. I'll be very curious to see how this does up our hill. I have a little bit of a hot take, if you will, and it relates to this e-bike. This is a utility e-bike. Usually that means heavy. They're bulky e-bikes, hard to lift on a bike rack, but not this one. This is the Carbon Joy Ultra from Urtopia, and it's made out of carbon fiber. They say it weighs in at 42 pounds without the accessories. Don't worry, I'll weigh it in a second. And because I'm such a lover of utility e-bikes, this might be my favorite model from them yet. In this review, I'll walk through all the components, then we'll take it for a ride, see how the 500 watt motor performs. It peaks at 750 watts and apparently it goes 25 miles per hour. Then I'll wrap things up with the pros and cons. I'll have my wife ride this as well so I can share her thoughts. But first, let's take a closer look. Since Urtopia is all about lightweight e-bikes, let's start talking about weight. So this isn't going to be a super lightweight e-bike, but it's going to be lighter than comparable utility e-bikes with all the accessories on, including the front rack. We're at 52 pounds. Removing the battery takes it down to 45 pounds. And we'll put some comparable utility e-bikes weights on the screen so you can compare. Current pricing on the Joy Ultra is $21.99, though you can find up-to-date pricing down in the description. Also, if you decide to buy, it supports the channel at no additional cost to you. Keep in mind, the company also has a non-Ultra version, so you can save a little bit and still have a carbon frame. Urtopia claims a height range all the way down to 4'11" up to 6'3". That's thanks to the telescoping seat post, so I can raise it up as a taller rider. I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam, and my wife is 5'5". And something I know a lot of riders will appreciate is the smaller form factor of this e-bike due to the smaller wheels. And then yes, it's just very accessible. So if you are in the shorter end, something to consider. Total payload capacity is 330 pounds and the bike is IPX65 rated. I really like this rose red, but it's also available in cream, lychee pink, glacier blue, and charcoal gray. You get Tektro hydraulic disc brakes with 180mm rotors. The tires are from Kenda. They're 20 by 3 inches wide, and I'm a big fan of this checkerboard tread pattern. The front wheel attaches with a through axle, carbon front fork to keep weight down. There's metal fenders front and rear. The optional front rack has a 15 kilogram max payload capacity. It's huge, which I love on a utility e-bike. The small front light runs off the main battery. Rear lights as well. They do go brighter when you hit the brakes. There's a 60-degree adjustable stem, and then the handlebars have a high rise to them, which means you can really dial this in depending on your height. There's locking ergonomic rubber grips, matching Tektro hydraulic disc brake levers with motor cutoffs, a nice bell, Shimano's 8-speed trigger shifter, and a right-hand thumb throttle. Moving on to the controls and display. 4 buttons over here on the left, up, down, M, and underneath is a power button. Or you can turn the power on the display by holding the top button here. Current time in the top, speed front and center. There's 2 bars, one on each side. The left one is for the rider power. On the right, that's motor power. On the right side, you have battery bars and percent. On the bottom, you have pedal assist levels, off, eco, tour, boost, and turbo. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down. Turn the lights on by holding pedal assist up. There's also the RPM displayed. Hit the M button for additional information. There's trip, odometer, average speed, and max speed. You can get a breakdown of motor power and power analysis. To get into the advanced settings, you can hold the M button. You can reset your trip. We'll change the speed limit to 25 miles per hour for our testing. You can set a password, change your time, units, screen brightness, auto sleep, walk speed, and of course you can reset. And also note, the display is adjustable up and down. And that's it for the display and controls. There's 3 mounting points on the down tube for perhaps a folding lock, or the best adjustable water bottle cage on the market that we sell at shop.ebikeescape.com. Your purchase also helps support the channel. Let's talk about the battery. Keyhole on the left, turn to the right to unlock, and then there is a separate lever. Push up and it will release. The battery case is paint matched. This is 36 volt, 14.7 amp hours. The battery itself is certified to UL2271, and the entire bike's electronics are certified to UL2849. If you're looking for some additional protection for your e-bike battery, highly recommend a battery bag. It's great for when you travel. Roll top bag. It's waterproof and flame resistant, and you get a nice grab handle. This also available at shop.ebikeescape.com. On the battery, there's a button to give you an idea of the current charge, and you can charge the battery up right here or on the other side of the frame by lifting this rubber cover. And it's charged up with this 4 amp charger, so between 3 and 4 hours to charge it up from empty. To put the battery back in, terminals first, and simply snap into place. Every utility e-bike needs a nice kickstand. This is a double-legged kickstand. To get it off the kickstand, simply put your foot in front, rock the bike forward, and reverse to put it on the kickstand. Step down, roll back. The pedals are plastic with grip tape. There's a close look at the telescoping seat post. Narrow memory foam seat. That seat has a small handle on the rear, so it might be a little bit easier to maneuver. On a utility e-bike, it's all about being able to carry things. We saw that on the front, but on the rear, you have this extended rear rack. Max payload capacity is 27 kilograms, but even more, this is a MIK HD rack. And what that means is it's compatible with any MIK accessory. We sell a bunch at shop.ebikeescape.com. This is our Momo MIK basket. And so all you need to do is push in the front and it simply snaps in. This one is cool because it has handles so you can bring it in with you if you want. But if you prefer, we have more traditional zippered bags. We have ones with roll down panniers, just tons of options. And then to remove, you get a MIK key. Simply push that in and you can remove your accessory. In the rear, we have a 500 watt motor that peaks at 750 watts that is engaged with a torque sensor. The derailleur is Shimano Altus, 8 speeds, 12 to 32 teeth in the rear, and up front, a 50-tooth front chainring. With that, let's get into some first-person riding footage and see how the bike performs. All right, here we go. Throttle only with pedal assist turned off, no access to the throttle, but full access in any pedal assist level. It's flat here and then goes up a little bit. Let's see how we do. 3, 2, 1, throttle only. Nice gentle takeoff. Ramping in here, 14, 16. And I felt the motor backing off there, reading at 19 miles an hour. Display was reading just over 19 miles an hour. All right, and now let's go through the various pedal assist levels. We will start in eco. Remember, this is a torque sensor, so the more power that I put into my legs, the more power I'm going to get from the motor. It's kind of fun. You can kind of see the readout between rider and motor support on the display. Let's go into 4th gear. So for every pedal assist level, I'm going to just go at a nice gentle cadence, and then I'll put in just slightly more effort so you can see what the cruising speed is, and 12 miles an hour, nice and easy. Just getting a little bit of an additional support from the motor. Let's shift up to 5th gear. All right, creeping up to 14 miles an hour there. Still a cadence I could do for a long time. Let's go into tour. All right, now able to cruise comfortably at 14 miles an hour and a little bit more power. 16, 17, shift up to 6th gear. All right, let's go into boost mode. Now able to cruise at 15 or 16 miles an hour without too much effort, and just a little bit more effort is you can feel the additional motor power approaching 20 miles per hour. I'm going to shift up to 7th gear. 21, and this is why you ride a bike here. This is the evening traffic. All right, I went in turbo, and this is giving me a lot of boost very easily. Let's get it on flat ground though. All right, turbo, very sensitive, so I'll be very curious to see how this does up our hill. And I am just barely spinning my legs. And we're going at 22 miles an hour. I'm going to shift up into 8th gear. There's 20, okay, basically effortless to 24 miles an hour. And my legs are spinning maybe a little bit faster than I'd prefer, but it's not bad. But if I could go 28, I think the cadence would have been too fast. But yeah, very zippy from this motor, and turbo's where it's at if you want to cruise at a high speed. Let's see if we can hit 25. Looks like we're just shy of 25 miles an hour. All right, we have a stoplight before we get on our way to the hill climb test. Let's talk briefly about geometry. It feels like a lot of the 20-inch utility e-bikes. It certainly feels lighter underneath you. I mean, it is lighter. Obviously, a rigid front fork. If this was going to be my daily, I would highly consider a suspension seat post. I love the handlebars. I'm in a very comfortable riding position now, but I could raise them up even higher if I wanted to. So I love the versatility. Yes, it's a smaller e-bike, but it still can accommodate different size riders. My wife and I both agree that the seat is nothing special, something that you might want to consider upgrading, changing out if you're looking for something more comfortable. All right, here we go. I'll see you at the hill climb test. All right, here we go. This is the hill. It looks so much smaller on the GoPro, so we'll put the specs on the screen. And I have a little bit of a hot take, if you will, and it relates to this e-bike. And I want to talk about it as I'm going up this hill. I think most people overbuy when it comes to particularly motors on their e-bikes. Now, I say that as I'm putting this bike through a worst case scenario going 6 miles an hour, but I don't think a lot of people do a hill like this on their e-bike. Some certainly do, but in my opinion, if you're just cruising around, basically any e-bike, obviously there's a motor. The motor is capable of holding you between 10 and 20 miles per hour in various pedal assist levels. And I think for a lot of people, that's really all you need. I think the case can certainly be made for wanting a larger battery, however, so I get that if you want additional range. But I think for the most part, there's not a lot of people who live near a hill where they're doing a hill like this on a regular basis. And this bike, surprisingly, we are almost at the top, and it's a 36 volt system, 500 watt motor. And granted, I'm a lighter weight rider, but we made it to the top on throttle alone. Now, the same can't be said for all Urtopia models, but still, that's pretty darn impressive. So now, let's contrast this with going up while pedaling. But before that, we'll do a little brake test. These are Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. They come on so many e-bikes. So I'm gonna slam on the brakes right now. And yeah, no problem locking up the tires on this bike. These brakes perform really well. So you guys can let me know in the comment section whether you agree with me or not. Now, the benefit, of course, of having something with not a super big motor is it's lightweight. This being the perfect example. I get tons of emails from people who overbuy and then they can't get their e-bike on their bike rack. And in eco, not surprising, very difficult. I mean, I think I would make it up to the hill, but my legs would be burning a bit. Let's go into tour. Actually felt a bit of relief there, slowed down the cadence a little bit, going up at 5 miles an hour. There we go in boost. Still want to be in first gear though. All right, let's go in turbo. So turbo is where this bike really takes over. There is a huge difference between boost and turbo. I'm able to just spin my legs nice and easy, and I'm cruising up the hill at 7 miles an hour. Now, I could shift up a little bit here, maybe third gear, but the motor power is pretty much maxed out. I actually like that decision from Urtopia. It's kind of the same thing as if I was just hammering on the throttle right now, making sure I get full power from the motor. But in my opinion, a vast majority of riders could do this hill, crank it into turbo, and you just need to put in not a ton of effort. You just kind of need to be able to spin the pedals a little bit. It's not like you're doing nothing. It's still a bike after all. Anyway, that's something I've been thinking a lot about recently. But with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the Urtopia Carbon Joy Ultra. Well, I wasn't wrong from the start. This is unquestionably my favorite e-bike I've reviewed in Urtopia's lineup. It also happens to be one of their most expensive offerings at $21.99. And while this rose red might not be my personal color of choice, you have to give Urtopia credit. It's a striking look that's going to really appeal to the right audience. The standout benefit here is the weight. At 52 pounds, fully dressed with accessories, it is significantly lighter than comparable utility e-bikes, often by 10 to 15 pounds, maybe even more. That weight difference is huge for riders who want to feel more confident handling the bike, whether you're maneuvering it in a garage or lifting it onto a bike rack. Side note, if you need something even lighter and don't need the utility features, definitely check out Urtopia's other carbon models. I really enjoyed the ergonomics between the adjustable handlebars and the stem. You can truly customize your reach. Plus, they actually kept taller riders like myself in mind with the telescoping seat post, all while maintaining a very nice accessible standover height that makes it easy to hop on and off. The tires provide great confidence if you duck off the pavement, though keep in mind there is no suspension here. Note the stock seat isn't the best. It's a bit firm for my liking, especially on a utility e-bike, but that's an easy upgrade. The torque sensor and motor power were excellent. In the lower pedal assist levels, it was easy to get more of a workout, though the motor did respond to my input, and then you can crank it to turbo if you want full motor power. You also get reliable Shimano components, both the shifter and derailleur, and the Tektro hydraulic disc brakes perform well and are on a ton of e-bikes around this price point. I'm also a big fan of the optional large front rack and the MIK-compatible rear rack, which gives you plenty of cargo versatility. Now we do need to talk about that $21.99 price tag. You are paying a premium for the carbon fiber build and that carbon fork. That shouldn't be too surprising. Also, while this is a utility e-bike, the weight capacity is lower than some heavy-duty aluminum bikes with welded rear racks, so keep that in mind if you plan on hauling very heavy loads. Though I expect the 60-pound rear load capacity is actually sufficient for a vast majority of riders. It's also worth noting that as of filming, Urtopia doesn't have all their proprietary accessories available just yet. This is a 36-volt system with a 500-watt motor that peaks at 750 watts. While certainly less powerful than some 48-volt utility e-bikes, as you saw in the riding footage, I still hit 24 miles per hour with ease. The 529 watt-hour battery is slightly below average size, but thanks to the torque sensor and low bike weight, you should still see over 20 miles of range, even using the throttle a lot in the maximum assist. The claimed 70-mile range is likely doable in optimal conditions, being a lighter weight rider on the lowest level of pedal assist. My wife and I both agree this bike isn't just fun to ride, it's a practical, lightweight choice that looks great. Remember, there are two versions of the Joy. Let me know in the comments section which one you would choose. If any of our e-bike content has helped you with your purchase decision, please check out the links down in the description to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.